Some cases sound too strange to be true. Others seem completely believable and were created to fool you. Tonight, 3 cases will challenge what you think you know. Some may be real, some may be fiction. Can you tell the difference? Look beyond the obvious, question every detail, and trust your instincts. Because the truth is rarely where you expect to find it. This is Truevia, the truth on Thursday.
They say the mountains never forget. But honestly, would you really want to know what is waiting for you beneath the snow and ice? Some secrets do not stay hidden. They are simply waiting for someone to get too close. And sometimes the mountain answers before anyone is ready to listen.
Could today's first case file possibly contradict that? Let's see together.
February 22, 2003, 11:07 in the morning. Rescuers cut through a steel door in the side of a mountain, a door welded shut since 1989, and find a woman inside. She has been missing for 8 days. She is wrapped in foil blankets. She is alive. She is pregnant. Beside her on a wooden bench is a hand-drawn map. On it, a location, a date, and a time. The date is today, February 22, 2003. The time reads 2:20 p.m. At 2:18 p.m., 3 hours after her rescue, a slope 700 meters away comes down exactly where that map said it would. The area had already been evacuated on her warning. Nobody is hurt. 2 questions immediately stop everyone in that valley cold. How did she get inside a sealed bunker, and how did she know? For now, trust your first instinct. Remember it carefully. Because in Truevia, even the truth knows how to disguise itself. The story begins 8 days earlier, Valentine's Day, 2003. The Valle Bianca Lodge near Valternench in the Aosta Valley of northern Italy. An isolated family-run mountain lodge, the kind of place that feels cut off from the rest of the world even in good weather. Tonight, the weather is not good. Temperatures are sitting at -8 Celsius. Wind gusts between 55 and 70 kilometers per hour. Active avalanche warnings are posted for the surrounding slopes. Elena Moretti is 28 years old, a physiotherapist from Turin. She has driven up with her fiancé for a Valentine's dinner, something she has been planning carefully for weeks. Because tonight, Elena has a secret. She is 12 weeks pregnant, and her fiancé Marco doesn't know yet. She has packed a small wooden box. Inside, an ultrasound photo, a pair of tiny baby socks, and a handwritten card that reads, "Our next adventure begins with 3." She plans to give it to Marco over dinner. Marco Bellini is 31, an architect. By all accounts, a good man. But that afternoon, something goes wrong between them. A waiter named Luca Ferraro overhears them arguing in the hallway. He can't make out most of it, but one sentence comes through clearly. "Tonight, Marco. I wanted to tell you tonight." At 5:42 p.m., Elena tells the receptionist, Sofia Conti, that she'll be back in 2 minutes. The wooden box is still in the car. She heads out to get it. An exterior camera records her at 5:48 p.m. walking toward the parking area. In the corner of that same frame, barely visible, easy to miss on a first watch, a white SUV is parked near the equipment shed. At 5:53 p.m., the camera loses power for exactly 11 seconds. When the picture comes back, Elena is gone. Her footprints end behind the car. Her room key is found 12 meters away in the snow. Police arrive. They talk to Marco, and almost immediately, things start to look bad for him. He doesn't mention the argument. When they press him, he admits it happened, but won't say what it was about. Then they find blood on his shirt. Not a small amount, enough to test. And there are several minutes in the early evening that Marco simply cannot account for. A blood-stained shirt, a hidden argument, a fiancé with missing minutes. The police have a direction. Wait a minute. A blood-stained shirt, a hidden argument, and several minutes no one can explain. Be honest, do you think Marco is hiding the truth, or is the truth hiding behind him? The search launches immediately. Over 120 people. Dogs, snowmobiles, thermal imaging, helicopters when the weather allows, which isn't often. Running the entire operation is a man named Vittorio Serra, 56 years old, a mountain rescue coordinator with decades of experience in these valleys. Calm, methodical, universally respected. The kind of man who brings Marco coffee every morning and puts his hand on Elena's mother's shoulder and tells her everything is going to be all right. On day 2, Vittorio gives a statement to the press with his hand on Marco's shoulder. "We will not stop until we bring Elena home." Watch that phrase again later. He never says, "Find her alive." He says, "Bring her home." And in the very first briefing, if you look at where Vittorio stands near the map board, his hand rests directly over Sector 14. But before we get to what that means, there is a second man police are looking at very closely. Paolo Rinaldi, 35 years old, independent mountain guide, Elena's ex-boyfriend of 3 years. He shows up at the lodge 55 minutes after Elena vanishes, claiming he came to warn of a road closure. Police check his phone. There is a half-deleted message he sent Elena earlier that day. "You finally have to tell him the truth." A red wool fiber matching her coat is found in his vehicle. And when police ask if he's seen Elena recently, he says no, not in months. That turns out to be a lie. He met her for coffee 3 weeks earlier and didn't tell anyone. Phew. Now, take a closer look. 2 men, 2 trails. Both seem to make sense. But tell me, what if the evidence isn't leading you to the truth? What if it's leading you exactly where someone wants you to look? On day 4, a search dog follows Elena's scent 40 meters toward an old maintenance road before the trail goes cold. The dog handler, following the line carefully, files a written note. Scent trail terminated at coordinator's instruction, not naturally. Vittorio had redirected the team, citing avalanche risk in that area. That note goes into a folder. The folder goes into a box. Nobody reads it. 2 false leads surface and are resolved on screen. A guest swears she saw Elena in a hallway on day 3. It was another woman in a similar red coat. A bus driver reports a sighting at a stop outside the valley, traced to a hotel worker in a burgundy parka. Police check Marco's finances for an insurance motive. Nothing. They check local gossip suggesting Elena staged her disappearance to run away with Paulo. A doctor shuts that down immediately. Nobody voluntarily endures 8 days of hypothermia. On day 6, Vittorio sits down with Marco for coffee and casually asks whether Elena ever sent him photos when she was out walking. Marco says no, he doesn't think so. Why? That question and why Vittorio asked it is the thread that unravels everything. But we are not there yet. Day 8, February 22, 2003, 9:16 in the morning. An electrician named Enzo Bardi is inspecting a frozen pipe near an abandoned avalanche monitoring station when he hears something coming from a ventilation shaft. 3 short, 3 long, 3 short. Vittorio, standing nearby, says it's loose metal in the wind, but a second volunteer hears it too. They keep listening. What nobody knows yet is that Elena has been doing this for 5 days, knocking SOS only during morning and early afternoon hours to conserve strength, counting to 3,600 between each session to pace herself. She had built a discipline out of pure survival instinct. At 10:55 a.m., cutting equipment arrives. The welded steel door, seams intact, untouched since 1989, is cut open. 11:07 a.m. Elena is alive. Severe dehydration, hypothermia, a broken wrist, pressure marks on her wrists from restraints she had worked free. The pregnancy is intact. On the bench beside her, 7 tally marks carved into the wood. She had been inside 8 days. Hypothermia had stolen 1 day from her count. The treating physician, Dr. Carla Neri, stabilizes her on site. Elena's first understandable words, spoken quietly, in pieces. He said the mountain would bury everything. He carried a green rope. Do not trust the man searching for us. And beside her on the bench, the hand-drawn map, Sector 14. February 22, 2:20 p.m. At 2:18 p.m., the slope comes down. 2 minutes early. An empty slope. No one hurt. Wait, did she really predict it? Or are you looking at a warning that was never meant to save anyone? Think carefully, because sometimes knowing what comes next is far more dangerous than not knowing at all. Here is what actually happened. 5:50 p.m., February 14th. Elena retrieves the wooden box from the car trunk. At 5:52, she walks behind the equipment shed and sees Vittorio Serra. He is transferring boxes marked with detonator warning symbols from an official rescue vehicle into a private van. For years, Vittorio had been running a quiet criminal operation. Stolen rescue equipment, avalanche control explosives diverted from official storage. He staged natural snow damage for paying clients, people who wanted slopes cleared, roads opened, land cleared, without official permits, without oversight, for cash. He had access, he had expertise, and nobody had ever looked twice at the most trusted man in the valley. Elena saw him, and she had her phone out. The glow from the flip phone screen gave her away. He struck her, took the phone, the wooden box, and her room key, which he planted 12 meters away in the snow to suggest an accident. The 11-second camera blockout at 5:53 was pure coincidence, a regional electrical fluctuation logged by the utility company at 3 other locations that same evening. The kidnapping succeeded partly through blind luck. He drove her to the bunker, not through the welded front door that hadn't been opened since 1989. There was a second entrance, a hidden rear maintenance tunnel behind a retaining wall, omitted from modern construction plans, known only to a handful of older maintenance workers who had serviced the station decades earlier. For 3 days, Vittorio brought her water, glucose tablets, and blankets from rescue storage, blankets stamped with the rescue inventory mark, while he quietly tried to determine whether the photo had been sent anywhere. Elena lied. She told him it had auto-sent to Marco. That lie kept her alive. On day 3, alone in the dark, she whispered, "Day 3, it snowed again. Your father is looking for us. I can feel it." When Vittorio finally concluded no photo had surfaced, no police inquiry, no image in anyone's hands, he abandoned her. And he scheduled a controlled avalanche for February 22 at 2:20 p.m. to bury the maintenance tunnel entrance. Eventually, her body.
His fatal mistake: he left his tool bag behind. Inside it, a coil of green climbing rope, a spare detonator component, and the detonation map. Sector 14, February 22, 2:20 p.m. The prophecy was his own plan, read by his victim. She survived on old water bottles stored in the bunker, snowmelt through the ventilation shaft, and the glucose tablets he had brought. She kept time by counting. She kept herself focused by knocking SOS on a schedule she invented herself. And she waited. The evidence chain that exposed him built quickly once investigators knew where to look. First, before police ever mentioned a bunker publicly, Vittorio told a colleague that nobody could survive inside that old bunker for more than a day. He named the bunker. Nobody had told him which one. Second, forensic analysis of Elena's boot found hydraulic oil, tungsten dust, and red anti-corrosion paint. Analysts matched those compounds to the rescue winch mounted on Vittorio's white SUV. Third, the dog handler's suppressed note surfaces from the folder. The scent trail he redirected on avalanche risk grounds led directly toward the maintenance road behind the retaining wall. Fourth, a search of Vittoria's garage yields unregistered detonators, a roll of green rope, a second key to the maintenance tunnel, and blankets stamped with the rescue storage inventory mark, the same stamp on the blankets wrapped around Elena when she was found. Fifth, Elena's flip phone is recovered from a drainage ditch. Technicians restore part of one grainy image. It is low resolution, 2003 camera technology, patchy alpine coverage, no GPS, no automatic cloud upload. But the image is enough. Vittorio, standing beside the boxes. And sixth, go back to what Elena said when they pulled her out of that bunker. She did not say the man who searched for me. She said the man searching for us. She counted her child, and she knew that the man running the search was the man who put her there. Vittorio Serra was arrested, charged with kidnapping, attempted murder, unlawful imprisonment, evidence tampering, illegal possession of explosives, and theft of public equipment. Marco Bellini and Paolo Rinaldi were cleared of all suspicion. The argument Marco had hidden from police? It was about a job offer in Milan, nothing more. The blood on his shirt? Elena had cut her finger that morning and he had helped her wrap it. The unaccounted minutes? He had gone to his car to get the dinner reservation confirmation he'd printed out. Paolo's half-deleted message, "You finally have to tell him the truth," was about the pregnancy. Elena had confided in him weeks earlier, and he was pushing her to tell Marco. The red fiber in his vehicle was from a coat he had given her 2 years before. He hid the coffee meeting because he knew Marco was jealous. The avalanche on February 22nd struck at 2:18 p.m., 2 minutes before the time on the map. An inaccurate detonator and shifting afternoon temperatures had triggered it slightly early. The slope it buried was empty. On Vittorio's schedule, it would have buried the tunnel entrance and, in time, everything inside.
18 months later, Elena and Marco married. The wooden box, recovered from Vittorio's van, still holding the ultrasound photo, the baby socks, and the card, was placed in Marco's hands at Elena's hospital bedside. He read it for the first time there. Their daughter's middle name is Speranza. It means hope.
Hope. A beautiful word, isn't it? But honestly, would you still believe in it if the truth refused to stay buried? If you think file case 1 is true, write true 1 in the comments and tell us what convinced you. Some secrets disappear beneath snow and ice. Others are returned by the sea. So let's open file case 2 and discover what the ocean has been trying to hide from us. Sea fog over Ross's Point. June 16th, 2009. Just after 6 in the morning. A father and his son pull into the car park at First Beach, County Sligo, the same way they have dozens of times before. The son is training for a triathlon. He runs ahead across the sand. The father follows at his own pace, breathing in the salt air, scanning the familiar shoreline. And then he sees something near the slipway. His mind tries to make it driftwood. It isn't. A body. Face down. Thin, gray-haired. Still. Clothes folded on a nearby rock. No wallet. No ID. No name. Okay. Before you decide anything, take another look. A body on the shore. Clothes folded neatly nearby. No wallet. No ID. Not even a name. So what are you looking at? An accident? A message? Or a man who never wanted to be found? Hold on to your first answer, because file case 2 has only just begun. 96 hours before that body was found, a tall, slim man with short gray hair and glasses was picked up on CCTV at the Ulster bus depot in Derry. The time was somewhere between 14:30 and 1600 on Friday, June 12, 2009. He was carrying 2 black bags, one a hold-all, one a shoulder bag, and he was looking for the 1600 bus to Sligo. He didn't speak to anyone beyond what was necessary. 2 hours and 28 minutes later, at 18:28, he stepped off that bus in Sligo town. He got into a taxi and asked the driver to take him somewhere cheap to stay. The first place the driver tried was full. It was a Friday night, peak summer season. The second stop was the Sligo City Hotel on K Street. He checked in at 18:52. 3 nights, paid in cash up front. He gave his name as Peter Bergman. He gave an address, Einstuttersen 15, 4472, Vienna, Austria. He was not asked for identification. When police later checked that Vienna address, it did not exist. The name Peter Bergman appears to have been an alias. His real name, to this day, is unknown. Room 705. No phone calls. No long conversations. No meetings with anyone. Just a man who had arrived in a town where nobody knew him, using a name that wasn't his, at an address that wasn't real. And the erasure had already begun. 72 hours before the body was found. Saturday, June 13th. The hotel CCTV picks him up leaving the building. He's carrying a purple plastic bag. It's full.
He walks out of frame. He comes back. The bag is gone. Not left somewhere visible. Not handed to anyone on camera. Just gone. He goes out again. Purple bag. Full. Comes back. Empty. Again. And again.
Over the course of his stay, investigators would later count 13 separate trips out of that hotel carrying a filled purple plastic bag. 13 times the cameras lose him. 13 times he returns without the contents. Not once does any piece of CCTV footage from anywhere in Sligo show where a single item was deposited. Investigators concluded he had mapped out which public bins sat in the blind spots between cameras and used them methodically, trip by trip, to dismantle himself. That same Saturday morning, at 10:49, he walked to Sligo's main post office. He bought stamps. Most detailed reconstructions say he bought 10 international stamps, although one later report lists 8, along with airmail labels. Here's what investigators never established. The postbox CCTV that might have shown whether he actually mailed anything was lost. Nobody knows if a letter ever left Sligo.
Okay, 10 international stamps, but no one knows whether he ever sent a single letter. So tell me, who was he writing to? A family? An accomplice? Or someone who already knew exactly what he was about to do? Leave your theory in the comments, because somewhere, someone may have received the only explanation this man ever left behind. Back at the hotel that afternoon, a staff member knocked on room 705 to allow housekeeping in. He was still inside. She reported that he seemed startled, almost as if he had been caught doing something he shouldn't. He let her in, said nothing beyond what was needed, and went back to keeping himself entirely to himself. 48 hours left. Sunday, June 14th, around 11 a.m. He walks to the taxi rank carrying a map. He asks the driver to take him somewhere nice and quiet where he could swim. He first points to Strandhill. The driver recommends Ross's Point instead, more sheltered, better for a swim. In the car, he sits up front. He asks whether buses run to Ross's Point regularly. He says he is from Austria. The driver notices something, a striking gold tooth. They reach the beach. He looks at it from the car. He does not get out to swim. After a few minutes, he asks to be taken back to the bus station. He pays with a crisp €20 note. He had scouted the location. He had confirmed the bus schedule. And he had done it 2 days before he needed to. Something about that doesn't feel right. He asked for a quiet place to swim, but he never left the taxi. He studied the beach, checked the buses, and then simply drove away. So tell me, was he really planning to come back for a swim, or was he preparing for something no one else was supposed to understand? 24 hours left. Monday, June 15th. He requests a late checkout. Just an hour or two, he tells the front desk. He has a few errands to run. Shortly after 13, he hands in his key and walks out of the Sligo City Hotel for the last time. He is carrying 3 bags: the large black holdall he arrived with, the black shoulder bag, and the purple plastic bag. 13:32. The bus station camera picks him up. The large black holdall is gone. Between the hotel and the bus station, that bag disappeared. It has never been found. Nobody saw him put it down. Nobody saw him hand it to anyone. It was simply gone. He buys a cappuccino and a toasted ham and cheese sandwich at the bus station cafe. He sits down. He takes a piece of paper from his pocket, looks at it, and then tears it apart. The fragments go into a nearby bin. By the time investigators got there, the bins had been emptied. The note was never recovered.
He approaches a staff member and asks only one thing. Which stand does the 1440 bus to Ross's Point leave from? He already knows the time. He just needs the platform. The witness who spoke to him later recalled that he did not look like a man going swimming. He looked tense, unwell, like someone on a business trip they were dreading.
He buys a single ticket, not a return. The bus pulls away at 1440. He is on it. From around 1600 that evening, witnesses at First Beach begin to see him. Up to 16 people would later report having noticed him. He is overdressed for a beach, black jacket on, trousers rolled to the knees, barefoot in the shallow water, walking slowly and deliberately along the waterline. He greets people he passes. He sits on a bench above the beach, still wearing his glasses, still carrying a plastic bag. He is not hiding. He is just there, alone, in no hurry. The last confirmed sighting is 2350. A woman sees him walking at the water's edge, plastic bag in hand. The tide was coming in. After that moment, no one ever sees him alive again. The next morning, Arthur K. and his son BK find the body. He is wearing purple striped swimming trunks with his underpants pulled on over the top of them. A navy t-shirt is tucked in. His other clothes are folded neatly on a nearby rock. 149 euros in cash sits with them. His passport, his glasses, his shoulder bag, his hold-all, a light blue shirt that witnesses had seen him wearing, all of it gone. Every single label had been cut from every item of clothing still on his body. You'd think that would make things clearer. It doesn't. The money was left behind. His glasses were gone. And the way he was dressed made even less sense. But none of that was the strangest part, because everyone thought the sea had killed him. The body told a different story. Everyone assumed he drowned. The beach, the tide coming in, the late hour, it all pointed one direction. But the post-mortem told a different story. The pathologist found no classic signs of saltwater drowning. None. The confirmed cause of death was acute cardiac arrest. And then, as the examination continued, the picture became far more complicated. Advanced prostate cancer, spread to his bones. Evidence of involvement in the chest. Previous heart attacks, plural. Only one kidney. Extensive dental work, bridging, root canals, crowns, and one full bold tooth on the upper back right of his mouth. Exactly where the taxi driver GH had glimpsed it 2 days earlier. The pathologist estimated that a man in this condition may have had only weeks left to live. And there was nothing. No medication, no pain relief of any kind in his system. A man with that level of cancer and that level of bone involvement, walking barefoot on a beach at midnight, taking no pain medication at all.
Police ruled out foul play.
Well, that changes everything. The sea didn't kill him. His body was already failing. So tell me, who was he? And why would a dying man spend his final days removing every clue that could lead back to his name? Because now, the mystery is no longer how he died. It's what he was trying to leave behind.
There are theories, and I'll give them to you honestly as theories. The most straightforward possibility is that he knew his illness could take him at any moment, that he had chosen to end his life on his own terms and in his own time, and that his heart simply gave out on the beach before the ocean had the chance to take him. A second possibility is that the dying was always going to happen. He just wanted it to happen anonymously, away from whoever was waiting for him somewhere in Europe. A third is that something else entirely drove him here, something we haven't found a thread of yet. Some people have speculated about espionage or a military background, but there is no evidence for that, and investigators have not pursued it as a credible line.
What the evidence does point toward is the German-speaking world. His accent, described by witnesses as German or Austrian. His shoes, black Finn Comfort leather, size 44, manufactured in Germany in 2002. His jacket and trousers from C&A. His Tommy Hilfiger jumper. A gold tooth, a removed kidney, extensive dental work, the kind of medical history that belongs to a specific person in a specific place, treated by doctors and dentists who may still remember him.
And yet, despite all those traces, on September 18, 2009, a plain coffin bearing no name was lowered into the ground at Sligo Cemetery.
Identity. Such a simple thing, isn't it? If you think file case 2 is true, write true 2 in the comments and tell us what convinced you. Keep that answer close. Only one case remains, the final file for tonight. And after that, every answer you trusted will be put to the test. Because one man disappeared without leaving a name, while somewhere else a name appeared where its owner could never have been. Some identities are erased, others refuse to stay where they belong. Let's open file case 3.
February 8th, 2013. 1:26 in the morning. A snowplow driver named Frank Keller is clearing a public boat ramp on the shore of Lake Superior in Duluth, Minnesota, and he sees something he cannot explain. A pickup truck, engine still running, driver's door hanging open. He pulls up behind it. On the seat, a wallet. On the steering wheel, blood. On the seatbelt, blood. In the snow beside the door, blood, and a set of footprints that walk straight toward the frozen surface of the lake, and stop.
No body. No sign of a struggle beyond the truck. Just the blood, the cold, and the silence. Police run the blood. The crime lab gets a hit. The DNA belongs to a man named Aaron P., a convicted burglar who has been locked inside a monitored prison cell in another state for 3 years straight. Cameras, guards, cell inspections, a recorded phone call. His alibi is absolute. He was never there.
And then, before investigators can even process that, harbor footage appears to show the missing man in 2 places at the same time, 31 miles apart with 3 minutes between them.
Well, one of these things cannot be true. The blood belongs to a man who never left prison. The missing man appears in 2 places at the same time. So tell me, which one do you trust? The DNA, the camera, or the impossible alibi? Choose carefully, because from this moment on, every answer only makes file case 3 harder to explain. The missing man is Daniel M., 39 years old. He runs a small fishing charter business out of Duluth, taking groups out on Lake Superior in the warmer months. He is divorced, lives simply, and is devoted to his 14-year-old daughter, Lily. On February 8th, the morning after he vanishes, Lily has a school concert. Daniel has a front row seat reserved. He promised her he would be there. 9 years before any of this, Daniel was diagnosed with a severe form of leukemia. The treatment that saved his life was a stem cell transplant, cells donated anonymously by a stranger he would never meet. He came through it, and by all accounts, it changed him. His sister, Emily, later told investigators that after the transplant, Daniel treated every sunrise on the lake like it was something he had been given back. He was not a man looking for trouble. He was a man who understood what it felt like to almost not be here. February 7th, 2013. The temperature in Duluth is -16 Celsius. Wind chill pushing -25. At 8:55 in the evening, a waitress named Megan Brooks sees Daniel come into a harbor restaurant. She will later tell police he seemed nervous, watching the window, not eating much, holding a brown document envelope tight against his side. Megan notices something else. Outside the restaurant window, a man in a yellow work jacket. She never sees his face.
Daniel leaves at 9:38. He has the envelope with him. He is never seen alive in public again. At 10:06 p.m., his ex-wife, Rachel, sends him a text message. If you fail to show up again tomorrow, you can explain it to our daughter yourself.
Now, investigators learn a few things about Rachel in quick succession. She has a life insurance policy on Daniel. She has been dealing with money problems. And she sent that angry message 4 hours before he vanished. Her alibi for the rest of the night is incomplete in the first interview. She seems flat, emotionally distant, not the reaction detectives expect.
Now that feels almost too convenient, doesn't it? An insurance policy, money trouble, and an angry message sent only hours before Daniel disappeared. So tell me, do you think Rachel is hiding something? Or did the evidence simply choose the easiest person to blame?
Daniel's business partner is a man named Owen Price, 42 years old. They have been friends since school. Owen handles the books, and investigators discover fairly quickly that Daniel had recently found something wrong in those books, roughly $74,000 missing or falsely recorded over several years. On February 7th, Daniel and Owen argued in the office. That evening, Owen called Daniel 3 times. No answer. When police search Owen's office, they find burned invoices, duplicate receipts, and payments routing to his second account Daniel had never authorized.
Then Daniel's sister Emily comes forward. She tells investigators about Daniel's last phone call to her at 2:05 in the afternoon on February 7th. He said, "I found a second ledger. If I'm right, someone has been using false invoices for years." Emily asked if it was Owen. Daniel paused. Then, maybe, but the invoices lead to someone else. Then the DNA result lands. The blood in Daniel's pickup matches Aaron P., 41 years old, convicted burglar, imprisoned in Wisconsin since 2010. Not a partial match, not a relative, a full profile, 16 matching loci across the entire panel. Investigators check everything. Lob mix-up, contaminated swabs, planted samples, a twin, falsified prison records. A second independent laboratory runs the same blood, same result. Aaron P.'s alibi is airtight. Security cameras, cell inspections, a work detail log, and a recorded phone call
all placing him inside that facility, hundreds of miles away on the night in question. When investigators reach him, Aaron says, "I've done many wrong things, but I wasn't there. I don't know that man."
And then the footage. At 12:51 a.m., a harbor camera records a figure crossing a snow-covered dock. The figure is wearing Daniel's jacket. The face is never shown. 3 minutes later, 12:54 a.m., a traffic camera 31 miles away picks up Daniel's pickup truck moving down the highway. 31 miles. 3 minutes. There is no road between those 2 points that covers that distance in that time. It is physically impossible.
Come on, how can all of that be true? The blood belongs to a man locked behind prison walls. The cameras place another man where no one could have reached in time. So which one is lying, the DNA or the footage? For a moment, the case seems to have no answer. Then, in the darkness, a phone begins to speak.
Here is what investigators almost missed. At 12:42 in the morning, 9 minutes before that dock figure appears on camera, an 8-second call goes out from Daniel's phone to emergency services. It is barely audible. Heavy breathing, a metallic knocking, rhythmic and slow. Wind moving through a narrow shaft. And underneath all of it, a faint railroad signal. Then a voice, weak and strained. "Not the lake. The red light." Then silence.
An audio analyst and a veteran railroad worker listen to the recording together. The signal pattern is specific. It belongs to a small industrial switching line beside the abandoned ore loading pier on the edge of the harbor, a pier that has been out of use for years. And on that pier, a single red maintenance lamp still burns. Police find a rusted panel. Behind it, a chained maintenance hatch. Inside, an inspection corridor, dark and freezing. Daniel is inside. He had survived the attack for roughly 2 hours, with a head injury, losing blood, in near total darkness and sub-zero cold. He struck pipes to make noise, crawled to his phone, and used 5 words to lead rescuers directly to him. He was not saying where he was. He was saying where he was not. Don't search the ice. He did not make it out, but those 5 words solved his own case. Now unravel everything in order.
First, the DNA. Investigators pulled Daniel's medical file. In 2004, Daniel received an allogeneic stem cell transplant. That procedure replaced his blood-forming cells entirely. The donated stem cells settled into his bone marrow and began producing all of his blood and immune cells. And those cells carry the donor's DNA, not Daniel's.
So when the crime lab tested the blood from that steering wheel, they were not testing Daniel's DNA. They were testing the DNA of the anonymous stranger who saved his life 9 years earlier. His hair, pulled from the hat found in the truck, still carried Daniel's own profile. His blood did not. Both samples came from the same body.
The anonymous donor registered before his convictions. He was never told who received his cells. The man whose blood nearly framed him for murder was the same man he had unknowingly kept alive. That donor was Aaron P.
Second, the blood stain pattern. Forensic analysts re-examine the stains in the pickup. The direction of the spotter shows Daniel was slumped on the passenger side when the blood was deposited. Someone else drove that truck.
Third,
the two places at once footage. The traffic camera that stamped Daniel's pickup at 12:54 a.m. had been running 37 minutes slow since a power failure weeks earlier. The actual pass time was 1:31 in the morning, long after the dock figure appeared and long after the emergency call. No simultaneity. No paradox. And when analysts enhance the plate, one digit is different. It was a similar model pickup owned by an uninvolved night shift worker who happened to use that road at that hour. A broken clock and a look-alike truck. That is all it was. Fourth, and this is the one that was in front of everyone from day one. His name is Casey H., 46 years old, tow trauma operator, volunteer rescue diver. He was one of the first people on scene after the discovery, diving beneath the ice to search, explaining the harbor layout to investigators, pointing journalists toward the frozen lake. On the first day of the search, he told a reporter on camera, "This looks like a staged scene to me," before police had said anything publicly about staging.
He kept steering the search toward the ice. He kept asking investigators about the DNA. He knew about the red light on the pier before it was released. He knew the blood had come from the passenger side before that detail was public. The forensic chain builds fast once investigators look at him directly. Red iron ore dust on Daniel's clothes, inside the inspection corridor, and in Casey's tow truck. Black paint on Daniel's jacket matching Casey's towing hook. Yellow recovery strap fibers. Magnesium chloride de-icer on Daniel's shoes matching the residue in Casey's footwell. GPS data and toll records placing Casey's tow truck at the pier and then at the boat ramp in the correct sequence. And a recovered deleted message from Daniel's phone sent to Casey about afternoon. "I can show you where that invoice came from. Come alone. Owen cannot know."
The fraud in Daniel's second ledger did not stop at Owen. It ran straight through to Casey Hay. Years of fake recovery invoices, money funneled out of the business, while Owen unknowingly absorbed the suspicion.
Here is what happened that night. Casey lured Daniel to the pier at 10:20 p.m. with the promise of information. The confrontation turned violent at 10:36. At 10:45, Casey dragged Daniel into the inspection corridor, took his phone and the document envelope, and left. He drove Daniel's pickup to a dark lot near his yard at 11:05. He returned in his own tow truck at 11:30 to check the corridor and set Daniel's phone down on a crate in the dark. He forgot it. That forgotten phone made the 12:42 call. Casey heard the call end. He retrieved the phone at 12:46. He walked the dock at 12:51 in Daniel's jacket to plant a false sighting. The camera caught the jacket, never the face. He drove the pickup to the boat ramp, staged the scene, left the engine running, and walked the false trail toward the ice wearing Daniel's spare boots. He was gone by 1:24. The snowplow arrived 2 minutes later.
Casey H. was arrested, charged with murder, unlawful imprisonment, evidence tampering, fraud, and obstruction. Owen Price was separately convicted of financial crimes. Rachel is fully cleared. The text was about Lily's concert, and phone data and witnesses place her home all night. Aaron P. is fully cleared, his record untouched by this case.
Aaron P. is told in prison what the investigation uncovered. That a donation he made years before his convictions, before he made the choices that put him behind bars, kept a stranger alive, and that 9 years later, that same gift came within hours of destroying what remained of his life.
Lily M. learns that her father did not choose to leave. He fought for 2 hours in the dark, in the cold, with everything failing, and he used the last of what he had to send 5 words that brought people to the right place. At her spring concert, the front row seat is left empty, on purpose.
Take a breath. You've now seen all 3 files. A woman who knew when the mountain would fall, a man who disappeared without leaving his name, and blood belonging to someone who could never have been there. But what does your instinct tell you about file case 3? Could a stem cell transplant really make one man's blood carry another man's DNA? Could a broken clock, a similar truck, and a stolen jacket truly create the impossible? Or did every explanation fit together a little too perfectly? Now, go back to your first instinct. Which file cases do you believe were true?
If you haven't commented yet, this is your moment. Write true 1, true 2, true 3, or any combination you believe and tell us what convinced you. If you enjoyed testing your instincts, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the truth on Thursday. Your support would mean a lot to our entire team and motivate us to keep creating the very best Truevia cases for you. Share this video with someone whose instincts you trust. No more clues, no more time to change your answer. The stories have been told. Now, let's see how well the truth disguised itself.
File Case 1. A woman found alive behind a steel door that had been welded shut for 14 years. A map that appeared to predict an avalanche almost to the minute. And the man leading the search hiding the very path that could have saved her. Was it a warning from the mountain? An unbelievable coincidence? Or a crime planned so carefully that the impossible began to feel real? If you believed Elena's story, then I'm afraid Truevia managed to deceive your instincts. Elena M., Marco B., Paolo R., Vittorio S., and the Valle Bianca Lodge never existed. File Case 1 was fiction.
But its foundations were real. Controlled avalanche blasting, abandoned alpine bunkers, hidden maintenance tunnels, and the forensic methods used in the story all exist. The people were invented. The possibility was not. Sometimes that is all fiction needs to look like the truth. File Case 2. A man arrived in Sligo using a name that was not his own. He removed the labels from his clothes, disposed of his belongings beyond the reach of cameras, and left behind a body filled with clues, but no identity. Investigators reconstructed his final days almost minute by minute, yet they could not find a single confirmed moment from the life he lived before them. Did we invent a man who erased himself so carefully that even death could not reveal his name? This time, we did not. File Case 2 was true. The name Peter Bergman was an alias. The unidentified man was found at Ross's Point on June 16, 2009. His real name remains unknown, and public appeals for his identity continue. He succeeded in hiding almost everything about his life. The only mystery he could not take with him was the question of who he truly was. His real name disappeared with him. Today, he is known only as the Sligo Man. File Case 3. A prisoner's DNA found at a crime scene hundreds of miles from his cell. A missing man appearing in 2 places within 3 minutes. And a killer searching beneath the very ice he wanted everyone else to believe was true. Was it an impossible crime? A forensic mistake?
or a mystery built from explanations that sounded just real enough. The DNA could have been real. The impossible blood match could have happened. But the murder on Lake Superior never did. File Case 3 was fiction. If you believed it, then the Truevia team led you exactly where we wanted you to look. There was no Daniel M., no Casey H., no Aaron P., and no investigation on the frozen shore.
But the science behind it is real. After an allogeneic stem cell transplant, a person's blood can carry the donor's DNA while other parts of the body retain their original genetic profile. Real cases have forced forensic laboratories to account for exactly this phenomenon. The crime never happened. The DNA paradox can. Because somewhere in the world, one person's blood really does carry another person's identity. And if you feel like a small part of you now belongs with the Truevia family, we'll see you again next week for The Truth on Thursday.